Mother. I can hardly believe it's been a fortnight since I bade you all farewell. I miss you terribly, yet my heart is also filled with delicious anticipation of the new life which awaits Father and me in the colonies. I look forward to settling in Dr. Franklin's home in Philadelphia, and long to see Father again when he returns from the wilderness. I'm proud to have a brave explorer as my father. I wear his locket always. We'll all be reunited on the wonderful land he is sure to discover. I shall be true to my word and write every day. Your loving daughter, Sarah.
Moses! Moses, help! Moses! Hurry!
Not again, James.
Afraid so, Moses. Help me. This is my last clean shirt. Whoa! Much obliged.
Dr. Franklin has warned you about standing too close to the press while I'm working on it. Look at yourself.
Fantastic! When someone wants to know what's on my shirt, I can sell them a newspaper.
We're paid to print the paper, not wear it.
I don't just print the paper, I'm a journalist.
You're an apprentice journalist.
True, but someday I'm gonna get the big story. Then Dr. Franklin will make me a full-fledged journalist.
James! Moses! A letter! It's from Dr. Franklin in London.
Give me that, Henri.
It's addressed to Moses. You look like James.
And you look like someone whose dessert I'm gonna eat tonight.
Lads, drop everything. Sarah Phillips isn't coming to Philadelphia.
Good. I never understood why she had to stay here anyway.
Fetch your coats. We're going to meet her at the ship.
I thought you just said she isn't coming to Philadelphia.
She's not. Dr. Franklin says Miss Phillips couldn't make passage on the Dover. She's aboard the Dartmouth, and the Dartmouth is heading for Boston.
Boston? That's in Massachusetts Bay Colony.
And there's been trouble up there lately. We have to hurry. She's all alone. Come on.
I hope I'm not putting you out of your way, Dr. Franklin.
Not at all, Lady Phillips. I have an appointment just down the street. Besides, life's a wilderness without friends.
Last night I had a terrible dream. My Sarah was in danger.
Danger in Philadelphia? Let me put your mind at ease. It's a fine city, the second largest in the empire. She'll feel very much at home, Lady Phillips.
That is a relief. I worry about her, Ben. With Major Phillips off scouting new lands in the Ohio Territory, Sarah will be all alone.
But she won't be alone. She'll be in fine company with my associates, Moses, James, and Henri. Sarah couldn't be safer if she were still cradled in your own arms.
Gentlemen of Boston, the hour has arrived. Please. Gentlemen, you know me as Sam Adams, neighbor and friend. Hear me now. Parliament continues to treat us with ill will. First, the Sugar Act raised our taxes. Did we have a say? The answer is nay. Then, the horrid Stamp Act nearly drove us to ruin. And who can forget our brothers who lost their lives in the Boston Massacre? And now, Governor Hutchinson insists on collecting Parliament's tea tax. But did we have a vote? No!
So, this is Boston. It's smaller than I thought.
Oh, my joints are aching from these rotten roads.
The axle is bent. It'll have to be repaired before we head back. The ride home will be smoother.
Good. Otherwise, I'd rather walk home.
How are we going to find Miss Phillips? You don't even know what she looks like.
She sailed on the Dartmouth. That's a good place to start. The Dartmouth! Let's burn it!
It's time for us to band together as Sons of Liberty. It's time for us to become patriots! And patriots are men of action! Are you with me? Let's go! To the harbor!
Can you not go over every... Hey, Moses!
Shh!
Indians! James, Moses, Mohawk Indians!
Mohawk with yellow hair?
There's a story here. Let's see where they lead us.
They're headed for the Dartmouth. We've got to find Miss Phillips, fast.
You get Miss Phillips. I'm going to get this story.
Just the tea, men! Remember, we're not to damage anything else. We're just after the tea.
Why are you destroying the tea?
We're protesting unfair taxation. Parliament raised the tea tax over our objections. Maybe next time they'll listen.
No taxation without representation!
Do you know what that means?
Nope, I heard the others saying it.
We've stumbled into the story of a lifetime. I'm going below deck to see what's happening. Stay out of trouble.
Take that, Parliament!
Miss Phillips! Sarah Phillips! Sarah!
Take that!
What hit me?
You'll never take me alive!
Take you? Where?
Wherever Indians take people.
I'm not no Indian. None of us are.
You're not an Indian. Who taught you grammar?
Who taught you to whack people in the head?
My apologies. I thought you were here to kidnap me.
Kidnap? I'm a journalist for the Pennsylvania Gazette. Now, what do you have to say about the tax protest?
Is that what this is about? Disgraceful. The tea is private property. This is so uncivilized.
We're not to damage anything else. We're just after the tea.
If you are any kind of Englishman, you drop that pencil and put a stop to it.
So you think it's okay to impose taxes on the colonies, even though the colonies don't have a vote in Parliament?
I think loyal subjects of the king should obey the laws of their country. And you can quote me on that, Mr. What is your name?
Hiller. James Hiller. And who would I be quoting?
Whom may I be quoting? If you're going to write for a newspaper, you really should treat words with more care.
Just tell me your name, will you? I have work to do.
Phillips. Miss Sarah Phillips of London, England.
S-A-R-A-H-P-H-I. Sarah Phillips? You're Sarah Phillips? Sarah Phillips?
I am. And I'll thank you to stop shouting, Mr. Hiller. I've had a very rude welcome to America, and you're not making things any better.
We've been looking for you.
Have you? And why is that?
Benjamin Franklin sent us.
Dr. Franklin sent you?
Now who's yelling?
Redcoats! Abandon ship! Abandon ship!
Henri, we have to get out of here. Where's James?
Look, it is not a mistake.
James, come on. The Redcoats are on their way.
Come on.
Unhand me! Ugh.
Miss Phillips, I presume. Thank goodness we found you.
If we're caught by those soldiers, we'll be thrown in jail.
Which, in my opinion, is exactly where traitors belong.
Sorry, Miss Phillips, but I can't print my story from jail.
Let me go! I said let me go!
I'd love to, but Dr. Franklin told us to take care of you.
James, look out!
Hold! That's an order! I'll get you for this! You rapscallions! Men, stop them immediately! I want them now!
Whoa!
Shh. Is everyone okay?
That was fun.
What a story. This is headline news.
Lower your voices. We're not out of the woods yet.
Help!
Are you crazy? Do you want the British to catch us?
I am British. We're all British.
Right now, those soldiers think we're criminals.
Criminals? What did we do wrong?
We were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The wagon's over there. Let's go. Keep down. The Redcoats will recognize you three, but I'll just be another faceless servant.
Even if you don't like the laws, you can't just ignore them. That will lead to chaos.
But what if the law is unjust?
Parliament would never pass an unjust law.
But they have. I interviewed the men tonight. The colonies must pay taxes to the king, but we have no voice in Parliament. Does that sound fair to you?
I don't know what to think. I only know Ben Franklin would hardly approve of what went on tonight.
Then you don't know Ben Franklin.
Quick, get down, the constable. Be still, or it's jail for us all. Whoa! Good evening, constable. Fine night.
Fine night for troublemakers. State your business.
I'm just bringing some freshly quartered hogs to the Wheatley residence.
Hogs, say you? At this time of night? I think I'll have myself a look.
I wouldn't if I were you. These are some big, ugly hogs. Nasty to look at. And do they ever smell?
You're right. They do stink. The Wheatley home is right around the corner. Hurry along now. The Redcoats have Boston under curfew. Nobody's allowed on the streets after dark.
Won't happen again. Much obliged, sir. This is the place. Come on.
Moses, how do you know the Wheatleys? You've never been to Boston.
I don't know the Wheatleys, but all of my people know Phyllis Wheatley.
How?
From her poetry. She's the finest poet in the land. Muse, where shall I begin the spacious field to tell what curses unbelief doth yield? A woman who can write like that would never turn away someone who needs help.
Why are we at the servants' door?
Yes,
Miss Wheatley?
yes.
We're in trouble, Miss Wheatley.
And we are hungry.
Did Mr. Adams send you?
Yes?
There's a stable round back. The door squeaks, so be careful. We can't wake the master.
You're a slave?
When I was 8 years old, I was kidnapped in West Africa and taken on a slave ship to Boston. The Wheatleys paid for me in the auction and took me home. Mrs. Wheatley helped me learn to read. Not just English, but also Latin and Greek.
Please, go on.
Well, a few years ago, all of the reading gave me an urge to start writing poetry. And soon thereafter, my first book was published. It has gotten a rather good response in England, though very few copies have been sold in the colonies.
That's not surprising. And maybe you should have put pictures in it.
The Wheatleys have helped me greatly. They even sent me to London.
But I don't understand. You're still a slave.
My situation is very different than most. The Wheatleys and I belong to the Old South Church. It is our hope that through meeting Africans, white people will realize how wrong slavery is.
I'd love to read your book.
I'm afraid you'll not be reading it now, Miss Phillips. We'd best get undercover before someone sees us.
Go. I'll bring some victuals.
We'll never make it back to Philadelphia on this axle. It has to be replaced.
Good. I like to stick around Boston. This is where the action is.
Oh, me too. If Miss Wheatley can write half as good as she cooks, she must be another Shakespeare.
Hey!
How can a woman like Phyllis Wheatley be somebody's property? It's outrageous. Am I the only one who sees this? Those men tonight throwing tea into the water. All that talk of freedom. What about freedom for Miss Wheatley?
Not everyone in the colonies believes in slavery, Sarah.
Talk is easy.
And freedom is priceless. I know. I was born free in West Africa. But when I was not much bigger than little Henri here, my brother and I were captured and chained to the decks of a ship. An awful ship. For the long voyage to Virginia and slavery.
That's terrible, Moses. How did you escape?
I escaped by using my head and my hands. I learned smithing, a valuable skill. My master loaned me out for odd jobs here and there, and sometimes I was given silver coins for my work. When I earned enough coins, I bought my freedom back and traveled to Philadelphia. There, I learned to read and write and was offered a job by Dr. Franklin, a man who hates slavery as much as I.
But Moses, how can you support those rebels? In England, slavery is dying. Here it's thriving.
I believe America's struggle is like my own. The colonists consider themselves enslaved to a master they did not choose. And that's a fight. If it comes to fighting, I will not duck.
I'll fight you for that drumstick.
Hey! Oh.
It's very late. We should get some sleep. Good night, all.
Father, I pray you are safe. I pray you will return from the West so we can be a family again. My locket! It's gone. Dearest Mother, so much has happened since I have arrived. I barely know where to start. I'm so confused. These Americans speak of liberty and freedom for all, but deny it to those with skin different from their own. I only hope that everything will be all right once Dr. Franklin arrives, and I trust that all is well with him.
Dear Sarah, if only you knew.
Benjamin Franklin, the great Dr. Franklin, friend of humanity, inventor of the lightning rod, father of electricity, author of Poor Richard's Almanac, Deputy Postmaster General of North America. Yes, he is all these things, but he is something more. He is a traitor! I charge Dr. Franklin with instigating the Boston Tea Party. The East India Company lost hundreds of crates of tea worth many thousands of pounds. This lawlessness was encouraged by Dr. Franklin in his speeches and writings. His crimes are enormous. And for his crime, he must pay the price. We must make an example of Franklin that the colonists will never forget.
Today on Liberty's Kids.
Come on, men. We have to catch whoever's hanging these posters. And if I find so much as one poster, it's jail for the lot of you.
Dearest Mother, they called it the Boston Tea Party, but believe me, this is one party I wish I had missed. The Yankees claim all this trouble is over taxes.
Why are you destroying the tea?
We're protesting unfair taxation. Parliament raised the tea tax over our objections. Maybe next time they'll listen.
Ruffians cowardly disguised as Mohawk Indians destroyed a shipment of tea.
No taxation without representation!
Redcoats! Abandon ship! Abandon ship!
Sorry, Miss Phillips, but I can't print my story from jail.
Let me go! I said let me go!
I'd love to, but Dr. Franklin told us to take care of you.
James, look out!
In a struggle, I lost Father's locket. I'm very angry. America is a strange, strange place. I can't say that I like what I've seen of it. We live in a barn hiding from His Majesty's soldiers, sheltered by a remarkable woman, a poet and slave named Phyllis Wheatley. James, Henri, and Moses support these radicals, but I, for one, can't wait to leave Boston.
Okay. I'm sorry, Caesar. I won't brush so hard. Hey!
Allow me.
When is Dr. Franklin coming? Soon, I hope. Very soon. Your loyal, loving daughter, Sarah.
How many do you see, Henri?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
English, Henri, not French.
I'm counting the English.
How many are there now?
Too many. There mustn't be a soldier left in England. What should we do?
What should we do? The British are occupying Boston. I've got to get this to the Gazette right away. Come on, Henri.
Seem a shame.
Do you really think he's a traitor?
On the evening of 16 December, the year of our Lord 1773, cowardly bandits, disguised as Indians, attacked the Dartmouth, a ship flying the colors of His Majesty King George III. And who is responsible for inflaming the subjects of Boston to this violence? None other than the man before us, the esteemed Benjamin Franklin. His crimes are enormous. The East India Company lost hundreds of crates of tea worth many thousands of pounds. This lawlessness was encouraged by Dr. Franklin in his speeches and writings. His inflammatory paper, the Pennsylvania Gazette, continues to foment sedition, rebellion, violence, treason. You have no honor, sir. You are a scoundrel, sir. Have you nothing to say for yourself?
The heart of a fool is in his mouth, but the mouth of a wise man is in his heart.
Ah, the famous Franklin wit. Perhaps I need to remind you, a rope is the proper reward for treason.
Boston Harbor is closed! Hundreds of new soldiers arrived by ship this morning.
The whole city is filled with redcoats!
Would you please mind your tongue?
Where's my pencil? I have a story to write. This is headline news.
James?
Those filthy redcoats are everywhere.
That's right, James. After that long sea voyage, these lovely redcoats could use a good cleaning. This may need some soap and water.
Let me help you, Miss Phillips. Fine morning, isn't it?
'Tis you who could use the soap and water in that smart mouth of yours.
You're absolutely right. You'll have to forgive my manners. I'm an orphan. I was raised on the streets and sometimes forget my place.
Where's that grub we was promised?
I'll check on it right away, sir. Why don't you come give me a hand in the kitchen?
The kitchen? That's woman's work. Hey! The kitchen! Of course. It would be an honor to help, milady. What are redcoats doing in the barn?
It's called quartering. A soldier just knocks on your door anytime, day or night, and moves into your house. We have 5 more upstairs.
I can't believe King George would allow that.
It was Parliament's doing. They call it the Coercive Acts.
The Intolerable Acts would be more like it.
This is an outrage.
That's right. We have to cook for them, wash their clothes, and they don't have to pay a single shilling.
I am outraged too. This pie was too small.
You are the funny one, aren't you? How did you come to be in the colonies?
I came here with my parents.
Henri was 6 years old when he left France with his parents. They signed an agreement with the ship's captain to work for 7 years in exchange for their passage. 3 weeks into the journey, the plague hit the ship, and half the people on board died, including Henri's parents.
The captain made me his cabin boy. He said I had to pay off my family's passage. Oh, I worked all the time, cleaning his room, getting his food, his clothes, hauling buckets of coal. And if I did anything wrong, he threw me in the hold for hours.
How dare he?
I belonged to him.
You mean he made you
A slave.
Henri? That's terrible. Thank heaven you're here now. How did you do it?
Moses and I went to the dock to pick up parts of a printing press that had come over from France. We went down into the hold to get the parts. There was Henri, on the floor, behind bars.
I thought they came to hurt me.
But Moses got him out with the handle of the printing press. It was amazing.
It was just what needed to be done.
But how did you get him off the ship?
We found the crate of parts, and Moses took the parts out, hid them under straw, and put Henri in instead. We closed the crate and carried it off the ship.
Right under the captain's nose?
Right under his nose. But we had to wait another month to find other parts for the printer. I'm still not sure it was a good trade. Then I wrote to Dr. Franklin and asked to have Henri work in the print shop to pay for his room and board.
Dr. Franklin said yes, but then he did something very bad.
What?
He told me I must learn to read and write French and English.
The speaking you have, but the reading we have to work on.
See? Work on? It work!
Speaking of which, I must get back to my work or it will raise suspicion. Lieutenant Brampton was by here earlier talking about the Tea Party and telling Master Wheatley if Boston's going to cause trouble, Boston's going to pay the piper.
That only makes sense.
Whose side are you on?
I didn't know there were sides. We're all the king's subjects.
Maybe you're a subject, but I'm a citizen. I have rights.
Doesn't Phyllis have rights?
You know what your problem is, Miss Phillips? You think too much for a girl.
And you talk too much for a gentleman.
Phyllis, I need a printing press. I've got to get the word out.
James, until Moses can fix the wagon, we're stuck here. The city is swarming with soldiers who would like nothing better than to arrest us for your tea party.
Take this, James. Tom Maloney published my poems. I can use his press anytime.
Mr. Maloney! Tom Maloney? Open up! We're friends of Phyllis Wheatley!
There's no one in there.
Today's the Sabbath.
The Lord's Day.
Well, the Lord helps those who help themselves. Remember, Phyllis gave us the key. Ladies first.
At last, a sign of manners.
Redcoats! We have to work fast.
Oh, no!
What? Who goes there? Where'd them kids go off to?
I've been busy doing my chores. I'm sure they're around here somewhere.
Nigel? Basil? Chauncey? On your feet! Those little troublemakers have run off. The city is under martial law. They're breaking curfew. We'd better fetch Lieutenant Brampton.
Oh, no! I've got to warn them.
I'll bet they're the same brats who got away during the tea riot. But they won't get away a second time.
Keep going, Henri.
Aye, aye, sir.
The sun's set. Good. It's time to spread the word. What's wrong, Sarah?
James, are you really an orphan? I heard you tell the soldiers before.
It's true. I was a tiny baby when it happened. Mother and father didn't have one of Dr. Franklin's newfangled lightning rods. Our house was struck and burst into flames. It burned to the ground. I was lucky. A neighbor pulled me out in the nick of time. Dr. Franklin's lightning rod has saved thousands of lives. When I was old enough, I sought him out. He offered to take me in as an apprentice, and I've been working at the Gazette ever since.
I'm sorry for complaining about a silly locket, when you've lost so much more.
That locket meant a lot, huh?
My father gave it to me before he sailed for America. When it was around my neck, it was like having him near me, always. He went up the Ohio River to explore new lands. When he returns, Mother will join us here, but we haven't heard a word from Father in nearly a year.
You're worried about him. See this?
It's beautiful.
It's my mother's ring. So, you see, I know just how you feel about the locket.
James, I'm done.
Grab a stack, Henri. It's time to go.
Must you do this? You'll only make things worse.
I have to.
Why?
Because, as Dr. Franklin's friend Edmund Burke said, an Englishman is the unfittest person on earth to argue another Englishman into slavery.
In summary, my lords, Benjamin Franklin, the deputy postmaster of His Majesty's colonies, is a traitor. The proof is in his own words, his own writings. And for this treachery, I ask that as a minimum, he be stripped of his position as postmaster, and that he bear the stigma and shame of a scoundrel, disloyal to king and country.
From the bottom of my heart, I thank Mr. Wedderburn for everything he has said against me.
What kind of trick is this?
My gratitude is sincere. You've answered a question which has troubled me since boyhood. but you have finally put my mind at ease. The question is fundamental, and when my fellow colonists arrive at the same answer as I, a great empire may fall.
More treason!
Mr. Wedderburn says I'm a traitor, but this is not true. The question he has answered for me is thus, am I a British subject, or am I the citizen of a new nation? A country distinct and different from England? And today I declare my answer, I am not British, I am an American. And man can only betray his own country. My country is no longer England, my country is America.
Let's put one here.
Hey, you! Halt! That's an order!
Run!
What do we do now?
We pray Moses has that axle fixed. Henri, I think we may have overstayed our welcome in Boston.
How do we get past those redcoats?
Follow me.
Look out! Must have fallen off a cart. Come on, men. We have to catch whoever's hanging these posters.
Are you all right, Henri?
Which one of you said that?
James, Henri, are you all right?
Whoa! Quick, we have to get out of here.
Too late!
Everybody inside.
The wagon is good as new. We must leave town right now while it's still dark.
So, my men and I are riding past this print shop when I hear voices coming from inside. So I ask myself, what's someone doing in a print shop at this hour on a Sunday? You know what I told myself? I said, printing these.
You have this all wrong, sir. These gentlemen are interested in my poetry. They wanted to see where it was published.
Poetry? You? What do you take me for?
Show them, Phyllis.
Yes, let's hear this poetry of yours.
Descend to earth, there place thy throne. To succor man's afflicted son, each human heart inspire. To act in bounties unconfined, enlarge the close contracted mind, and fill it with thy fire.
Right. So you're a poet. But I still believe these runts have something to do with spreading rebellion, and I aim to find the evidence. Tear the place apart if you have to, and if I find so much as one poster, it's jail for the lot of you. You.
Me?
What's your name?
Sarah Phillips, sir.
Phillips, you say? I served under a Major Phillips during the 7 Years' War.
Major Phillips is my father, sir.
Is that so? Then you're an Englishwoman, Miss Phillips. It's your duty to tell me who made these posters. The truth now. Your father would expect you to tell the truth to an officer in the service of his king.
I...
Spill it, girl. Well, I'm waiting, young lady.
Where are my manners? You must be half frozen riding in this cold weather. I'll fix a pot of tea on the Franklin stove. There, the fire is stoked. We'll have hot tea in half a tick. Now what was that you asked me? Something about posters?
Nothing, Lieutenant. The place is clean. No sign of them signs.
I don't have time for this. Come on, men. The rabble-rousers are out getting away while we're dilly-dallying with children and poets and tea.
Quick, to the wagon, before they come back.
Phyllis, how can we ever thank you?
Keep fighting for freedom, that's how. Now be off. I'll keep watch until you're safely gone.
thank you.
For what?
You know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure you do. You saved our hides.
James, I'm very tired and I'm cold. I'm going to make a gentleman out of you yet.
And I'm going to make an American out of you.
Yeah! Yeah!
A little more, Moses. Good. That looks great.
Dearest Mother, so much has happened, I hardly know where to begin. Your latest letter brought the shocking news from London. It's terrible that Dr. Franklin has lost his position as postmaster. But praise the Lord he didn't end up in jail. Or worse. James, cut out that racket.
A little more, Moses. Good.
Would you please stop that noise? I'm trying to concentrate.
Go ahead, James. It's finished.
Sarah?
What is it?
The boys have a little something for you.
For me?
Thank you for saving us.
Here.
For me?
Moses made it.
It was my idea.
It's beautiful.
You like it?
I love it. But where in the world did you get the gold?
Are you sure you like it?
Your ring. It's the greatest gift I've ever received.
All right. These colonies are troubling with England and Boston. This is not Massachusetts, you say. True. This is Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. But trouble moves round. Leave your politics on board. And don't pick up any politics ashore.
September 1774. Dearest Mother, please give my best to Dr. Franklin. As he may have told you, Parliament's response to the Boston Tea Party has not been warmly received. The colonies have sent representatives to Philadelphia to attend a Continental Congress.
No, thank you.
The first gathering of leaders from each of the 13 colonies. They intend to draft a formal response to Parliament. There is so much beauty here. It's not difficult to understand why the people are passionate about their colonies. And passions, as you know, can make men's blood run hot.
By giving Canada the Ohio River Valley, the lives lost 11 years ago during the French and Indian War were lost for nothing.
But Parliament's demand that Boston pay for the tea they destroyed is perfectly reasonable.
The tax is not reasonable. Only a Tory would think so.
I thought Tory was a colony. You know, like if a person was a Tory, they were from Tory. Like a New Yorker is from New York.
Sarah's not a Tory.
Colonists who defend Parliament are called Tories, a nasty name on this side of the Atlantic. I must learn to be careful what I say, since my opinions are not always popular.
Sam, it's vital these pamphlets are distributed in Boston immediately. The pamphlets need to be read while the British warships are still there, with cannons pointing at church steeples.
John, even I wouldn't accuse the British of targeting church steeples, and I consider myself an expert at stirring the pot.
You're right, of course, it's too much. But we must get these pamphlets into Boston. We must!
You gentlemen have a way of agreeing that makes it sound like you're arguing. Your pamphlets are nearly done. Sarah, Henri, James, you remember Mr. Samuel Adams?
Yes, sir. We were there in Boston the night of the Tea Party.
A most splendid protest. The people should never rise up without doing something worth remembering.
And this is Mr. John Adams.
The same John Adams who defended the British troops who fired on our patriots at the Boston Massacre?
James, that was many years ago.
No, Moses, the lad is right. I did defend the British soldiers, and they were found not guilty for a good reason. They weren't guilty.
And our patriots were? They simply stood up for what they believed.
I think it was very brave of you, Mr. Adams, to defend unpopular men in the midst of friends and neighbors who wanted to see them punished.
I had justice on my side. The men involved in the so-called massacre were not patriots. They were a drunken mob spoiling for a fight. It was a case of self-defense. Facts can be stubborn things.
If I had been there, I would have been with the patriots.
Son, I admire your heart, but you must learn to distinguish between a patriotic act of protest and mob rule. The tyranny of the people can be just as brutal as the tyranny of the crown.
The pamphlet looks good, John. Now all we need is a way to get them into Boston.
How about you, James? Here's a patriotic act. Get these to my wife, Abigail.
I would, but I've agreed to assist the scribes during the Congress.
Since the harbor's closed, British troops patrol the roads, stopping and searching every carriage. There will be danger.
Abigail is going to meet the convoy well outside Boston. The danger will be minimal.
I'll go.
You don't even believe in our cause.
Maybe not, but I believe in adventure. I could take Henri with me. No one would suspect a thing.
Sarah is right, and Henri is a stout, able young man. Right, Henri?
Good. Then it's settled. I'll notify Abigail by courier.
You have to learn to be aggressive if you want to be a journalist.
I think you were very nearly rude to Mr. Adams.
I was to the point, nose to nose.
You were as busy giving your own opinion as getting his.
I like Sam Adams. Sam is a man of action. This is a time for action.
Hey, who's that?
Whoa!
What have we here? Stand right where you are.
I was looking for my shipmate. I'll be on my way.
I offered to buy you a drink.
I don't drink.
That it? Or is you wouldn't join the toast? Me Parliament rot the wretched louts!
Where are you going? I don't know my way at night.
Oh, all right already.
Look, I don't want any trouble. Let me go about my business.
You are my business. I'm worried about you out in the chilly night air. He needs a warm coat of tar and feathers.
Let me go! Stop!
I can't believe I'm going to miss this.
I can't believe you'd want to have anything to do with it. If you were a gentleman, you'd put a stop to it.
Imagine how silly he's going to look covered with tar and feathers. He'll look like a giant barn owl. Hooty hoot! Hooty hoot! I'm Hooty the sailor.
Isn't this more of a story than that poor unfortunate sailor?
What story? We're loading wagons.
These supplies have been sent from 4 different colonies. That's a story. I had the impression the colonies consider themselves separate countries.
They did, until Parliament closed Boston Harbor. If they can do it to Boston, they can do it anywhere.
Stop! What is it?
It's the barn owl on parade!
Let me go! Leave me alone! What is my crime? That I disagree!
Now that's a story. I want to see what happens next.
Hold on, Henri. We're leaving soon. The wagon master said the roads out of Philadelphia are easier to travel with this moon.
Hooty hoot! Hooty hoot! Hooty hoot! Hooty hoot!
On the same city street, at the same time, I witnessed an act of compassion as strangers donated food for people in need, for people they have never met. Yet, I also witnessed a callous act of brutal bullying, and James is swept up in it.
Stop! No! Let me go!
large type across the top. Hooty Hoot gets the boot because he looked like a barn owl after they tarred and feathered him. And they kicked him when they cut him loose. Get it? Hooty Hoot? Boot?
I don't think so.
Moses, he had it coming to him.
Remember what John Adams said about mobs?
What does Mr. Adams know about the newspaper game? He could learn something from the author of that pamphlet he's sending to Boston, Novangelis. Now that man is a writer.
Novangelis is John Adams. It's a pseudonym, meaning he writes under an assumed name.
John Adams wrote a government of laws and not of men? That's John Adams?
The very one.
Maybe I should write using a
pseudonym.
Yeah, I'll call myself something modern. Daggerquill. All one word, but capitalize the Q.
Chatterquill would be more like it. The lesson here, James, is less about the name and more about the message. Mr. Adams is a very wise man. You would do well to learn from his example. Now get this paper stock over to Congress.
You will let me write a story about the Congress for the Gazette?
Only if you study the issues. Learn about the men arguing the various sides.
Deal!
That boy.
I forgot the paper stock.
Dearest Mother, this land is even more spectacular than Father has described in his letters. But the people I have met are most uncommon. Their desire to learn what is going on in the country and their willingness to share with their fellow colonials gives me hope for mankind.
I could choke half of them with my bare hands. Don't they understand the suffering that's going on in Boston?
Patience, Sam. We will make the case with facts stacked one upon another like bricks. Soon we will have an argument so strong it will be impervious to attack.
On our second day, an old man brought his sheep to the convoy. He explained he was too old to continue herding sheep. He had given most of his flock to his daughter, but he wanted to give the rest to the blockaded city of Boston. At first, our wagon master didn't want to accept the flock. It would have slowed us down too much. But I had an idea.
All right, troops. I know nothing of sheep, but I know soldiers. I depend on you to assist me, Lieutenant. Yes, General, sir. Quit fighting with the Lieutenant. You there, bighorn. If you behave, I will give you all ranks of honor and names of valiant French knights and musketeers.
It is essential at the outset to determine our method of voting.
Who is that at the podium?
Him? That's Patrick Henri.
Population of the larger colonies. What say you?
Hear, hear!
Point of order!
At the provisional meeting of the Stamp Act, we voted by colonies.
One vote each.
Yes, we're all equal.
No! Outrageous!
Who is that standing up?
Delegate Dwayne. He's from New York.
What say you to that, sir?
The matter of the vote has not been decided.
That's John Adams. Him, I know. Let's make a deal. I'll tell you everyone I know, and you tell me everyone you know.
I know everyone.
Everyone? Who's that?
John Jay of New York. Now, please, I'm trying to listen.
As we set about our business, I remind everyone of our purpose. We are here to re-establish harmony with Great Britain. We're not here to provoke Parliament into further action against us.
Hear, hear!
Outrageous! Gentlemen, come to order. I have just received a message by courier that British warships have fired cannon upon the city of Boston. Church steeples have fallen. There is panic in the streets, and some number of dead.
As we near the end of our last day on the road, we are met by a most marvelous lady and her driver. She is the wife of the Massachusetts delegate, John Adams. Abigail Adams is so much more. You would like this lady very much.
Welcome from all the good people of Boston. And you must be Sarah, Forgive my brazen husband, that Mr. Adams, sending a girl on such an errand.
You must thank him for me. It has been a wonderful adventure. But I must ask you, we heard along our journey that Boston has been fired upon. Is this true?
Heavens, no. General Gage sent troops to Cambridge and took arms and powder stored there. Patrols on the road stopped supplies from entering the city. But actual warfare? God save us from that.
Has any word come from England? Anything new from Parliament that might provoke violence?
No. General Gage can act under his own authority. He claims he seized the powder and guns to prevent violence. However, if he finds these pamphlets, it would be sedition. That could land us all in jail.
Sedition?
That's like treason.
You have nothing to fear. I won't let anything happen to you. I promise. Please put everything in my carriage.
I know how to get the pamphlets into Boston without anyone going to jail. My squadron! If I follow the marsh road into Boston, no one will think twice.
Young man, that's brilliant.
Tell me what happened in the Congress.
Well, I found the delegates at Carpenter's Hall arguing over what to do about the Intolerable Acts. One group wants to demand Parliament repeal the Intolerable Acts, while the other group wants to ask the king for his help.
Who are the leaders?
The firebrands. That's what the moderates called them. Are the Massachusetts men, John Adams and Sam Adams.
Write the names down. Who are the moderates then? Who speaks for them?
Our own delegation. Can you believe it? Shame on Pennsylvania. Mr. Galloway sounds as if he were a member of Parliament himself.
Good job, James. Excellent reporting. You have all the facts. Why are you so glum?
Because they just talk and talk and talk. Why won't they fight it out and be done with it?
Let's say a prayer of thanks we have men who aren't so quick to fight.
The moderates won. They're going to petition the king to fix it with Parliament. It could be weeks before there's any news. Moses, let me do a story on the sailor that got tarred and feathered. That's real news, patriotic and funny.
I know where you can find the sailor. Maybe you should talk to him and still see how patriotic and funny you think it is.
You want to ask Mr. Parker questions for the newspaper?
Yes, Doctor.
He's in a great deal of pain. He'll have to stay in bed for a month, maybe more.
He's hurt bad? He can't be. I saw him. I saw him stand up and walk away.
When a person is tarred, the tar is like hot oil. They boil it. Tar burns a man's clothes onto his skin.
You mean like hot candle wax and you peel it off and...
Worse. When you peel the tar off, you peel the skin away. Then there's the risk of infection, which I'm afraid has already set in.
But they were patriots taking a stand.
They were criminals who used the cause to beat him and rob him of his hard-earned pay.
But they were shouting slogans against Parliament, and they sang a liberty song.
Did they respect Mr. Parker's liberty? You want the real story? Go ask him a question.
I don't think I want to.
The facts, James. If you want to be a reporter, you must have all the facts. Tears are salty. That adds sting to the wounds. One tear leads to more hurt and more tears. It's a cycle of pain no man should inflict on another for any reason.
Who is it?
It's Moses. I brought the young man I mentioned earlier. Could he ask you a question or two?
Yes.
Is there anything I can do?
These wagons headed toward Boston? Somebody got an answer for me?
Yes, they are. They were loaded in accordance with the law of the king.
By the sound of that voice, you're a ways from home here, missy.
Mother, I am sorry to say these British soldiers were far from gentlemen. 2 of them held muskets at the ready. They talked among themselves, deciding who would ride which wagon. They intended to sell the goods and pocket the money for themselves. Sir, my father is a British officer.
Really? An officer, you say?
Which one of you would like to sign for the wagons? I'm sure General Gage will want to know who took the supplies.
General Gage? See, we didn't know these goods were... she's not the daughter of...
We don't need to make an issue of who her father is. Just sign.
We don't have time to take the wagons now. There aren't any newspapers or pamphlets here.
I swear on the king's health, there are no printed or published works in these wagons.
Move on, then.
What was that?
What is over there?
All right. Stay quiet until we know what we're up against.
Lieutenant, keep your eye on the 6-man lava cannon. Colonel, have we heard from the Indian scouts? They are the famous shadow warriors. You cannot see them until they are right beside you. Yes, sir, General, sir.
They sound like sheep.
It could be Indians. They make noises like birds and bears to fool the enemy. They must have taught the rebels how to do it. Let's get out of here.
Keep moving. We will find a large field to engage in a proper battle.
After Henri delivered his squad of sheep, he returned the dog he called Lieutenant to the old man. We rode back to Philadelphia on horses from the stable of Abigail Adams. I shall miss her. Safely back in Philadelphia, I made my way to Mr. Adams with a letter from his wife.
Thank you so much. I worry about her there, in harm's way.
She asks you to write more often.
Yes, I must. If you would include a message for Dr. Franklin in your next letter to England, tell him I am as heartstrong as headstrong. I am convinced by this Congress that America will support Massachusetts or perish with her.
I will tell him that. John Adams arranged for us to see a bit of Congress in action. Mr. Adams said it best.
The distinctions between Virginians, Pennsylvanians, New Yorkers, and New Englanders are obsolete. I am not a New England man. I am an American. We are Americans.
Dearest Mother, the mood in the colonies has turned ugly. Parliament has placed the port of Boston under blockade as punishment for the Tea Party. With the harbor closed to trade, the subjects of Boston are idle and suffer greatly. Tensions are on the rise. Dr. Franklin's printing press is working round the clock to keep up with all these events.
Moses, it did it again! This old thing is a hunk of junk! How are we supposed to get out the latest news from Boston if our press keeps breaking down?
James, this poor old press is ready for retirement. However, I have just the fix.
Great! What do you need? A wrench? A hammer? I'll fetch it for you.
A wagon.
A what?
A big, sturdy wagon. I made an offer on a new press. We just have to pick it up.
Great! Where is it? Market Street?
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg? Williamsburg, Virginia?
We leave at the first flight of day. But nothing. We must have a dependable press. The people count on us for their news. Besides, you never can tell what news you'll uncover in a different colony.
Yes, but is it safe? I mean, for you? Slavery is everywhere in Virginia. It's not at all like Boston or even here in Pennsylvania.
These are dangerous times for everyone, and I'm willing to do what I can for the common cause. I won't be without some protection. I have this letter from Dr. Franklin. It attests that I am a free man. I carry it with me, always.
Moses, if the colonies had 10,000 men as brave as you, Parliament wouldn't dare mess with us.
Speaking of mess...
Right. Where's the soap?
You don't know?
Well, let's see. I used it just last Saturday.
More like last January.
Still working at this hour?
Sarah, Henri, big news! I'm going with Moses to Virginia to buy a new printing press.
And leave me here alone with her?
And leave me here alone with him? I'm going with you.
I hope this new press is worth the money, Moses.
As Dr. Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. This press will save us a very pretty penny.
How much longer till we get to Williamsburg?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
You're always hungry. I hope we get there in time for the session of the House of Burgesses. I want to hear Patrick Henri speak.
Patrick who?
Patrick Henri. He's a lawyer from Virginia. He was a delegate to the First Continental Congress. And what a speaker.
Don't tell me this Patrick Henri is a rebel.
He's not a rebel, Sarah. He's a patriot. He wants the southern colonies to join the common cause with New England.
Why would a subject of Virginia care what's happening in Massachusetts? It's a completely different country.
With men like Patrick Henri, it might just become one country.
Look, a farm! Whoa! Those workers will know how far it is to Williamsburg.
We won't be stopping at that farm, Sarah.
Why not?
Because those workers aren't just workers. They're slaves. Let's go.
Lady Phillips, how grand to see you again.
Dr. Franklin, you're leaving us?
The rumor is true, Lady Phillips. As soon as I tie up my affairs here in London, I will return to my home, to Philadelphia, to America.
Oh, Doctor, you will be missed.
By my friends, perhaps, but my enemies are in far greater numbers, and if they shed tears upon my departure, they shall be tears of joy. What word have you from your lovely daughter, Sarah?
She's off on a trip to Williamsburg, which is the capital of the colony of Virginia, I believe.
Does she say why? I haven't had a letter in some weeks now.
Something about buying a new printing press. I take comfort knowing she's in the company of your people, James and Henri, and your major domo, Moses.
Moses, you say?
Is there something wrong?
Perhaps not, but perhaps so.
This must be Williamsburg.
I smell ham. Ooh, I also smell mutton, roast beef, pudding, and pie. I love Williamsburg.
Henri, you're part bloodhound.
It is quite beautiful, civilized. It reminds me of the English countryside.
Sold!
Oh my goodness! Is that...
Yes, Sarah. The auction block. This is where my people are sold like cattle to the highest bidder. I was sold on the block in Charlestown, South Carolina, but they're all the same.
It's barbaric. I cannot look at it, not another second. I want to leave this place.
The newspaper office is right across the street. Come on, Moses. Let's pick up the printing press and get out of here.
No, James, you're a journalist. You have a job to do. I'll get the printing press. You get yourself over to the House of Burgesses and find out the latest news.
But...
No buts. Each of us must do his part.
Is it safe here for you, Moses?
As long as I have this letter, I'll be fine.
Come on, Henri. Do you want something to eat?
No. Suddenly, I've lost my appetite.
That's strange. It's locked.
In the middle of the day?
Here goes. Up you go. Ouch! Where is everybody?
Gone.
Gone? Gone where?
There is no more House of Burgesses. The Earl of Dunmore shut it down.
The Earl of who?
The Earl of Dunmore. He's the royal governor of Virginia.
He got mighty mad at the Assembly, especially Mr. Patrick Henri, for saying Virginia should raise an army to fight with the Boston people.
Now that's news. Are you sure?
I hear everything. Rumor has it, Mr. Henry's going to speak to a convention in Richmond, St. John's Church.
That's fantastic. Thanks. What is your name?
Oh, no. I've said too much already.
Wait till Moses hears this. Moses! Big news! We've got to go to Richmond! The Earl of Dunmore sent the Assembly home, but they're going to meet anyway in Richmond. Patrick Henry's going to make an important speech. This is news.
We'd better get going.
What's wrong, Moses?
That's what's wrong.
He looks scared.
He's my brother.
He's your brother?
His name is Cato. We were separated when we were young, but I'd know him anywhere.
We have to do something.
Yes, but what?
We can buy his freedom.
With what? We spent all our money on the printing press.
I have some coins.
I'll sell this horse and wagon and carry the press home on my back if I must. But I'll not sit here while Cato is sold like a sack of flour.
He's a captured runaway. High-spirited, so we'll have to be watched carefully. Who'll start the bidding?
50 pounds.
I have 50 pounds. Do I hear 60?
60 pounds.
I have 60. Do I hear 70 pounds?
Stop the auction. This is most peculiar. You aren't allowed to bid at auction.
My offer stands, sir. 60 pounds, cash money.
This is outrageous! The nerve!
The man you are selling is my brother, Cato. I am a free man and have as much right to bid as any.
He speaks the truth, sir.
Quiet, child. It's bad enough I'm talking to him. I'll not stoop to discussing my affairs with a girl to boot.
I'd like to give him the boot.
Moses is a free man. Show him your letter, Moses.
It's from my employer, Dr. Benjamin Franklin.
I don't need no reading lessons. Ben Franklin's name don't mean nothing in Virginia. He's a Pennsylvania man. And if you belong to him, I suggest you get. And I mean now!
Moses, no! Stay calm.
Get him out of here! My bid stands at 50 pounds.
50 pounds, going once, going twice. Sold to Foreman Harrison of the Abernathy Plantation, Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, that's where Patrick Henri is speaking. Come on! Moses, Cato was sold to the Abernathy Plantation.
In Richmond. We are going to Richmond, aren't we, Moses?
As if we had wings.
There's St. John's Church. That's where Mr. Henry's going to speak.
You stay here and listen to his speech while I find Cato. The Abernathy Plantation is just outside of town. We passed it coming in. I'll draw less attention on foot. Meet Cato and me here after dark.
Please let us go with you, Moses.
This is family, Sarah. I have to do this for my brother. Now make sure you get down every word Patrick Henry says. The colonies need to hear a man like Mr. Henry.
We won't let you down, Moses.
Good.
Are you going to just let him go?
James, look! His letter!
Well, it doesn't take 3 of us to copy down a speech.
And I can barely write my name.
True, but you are a world-class sneak. Henri, tail Moses. Keep your distance so he doesn't know he's being followed.
But at the first sign of trouble, fly back here and get us. Do you understand?
Certainement. Maybe I can't write English, but I understand it plenty.
What are you doing with the pencil?
2 heads are better than 1, especially when one of the heads is yours.
But you're not the journalist.
Shh. Mr. Patrick Henry.
The question before the House is one of awful moment to this country. For my own part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, if we mean to preserve those privileges for which we have been so long contending, we must fight. I repeat it, sirs, we must fight. An appeal to arms and to the God of hosts is all that is left us. They tell us we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Will it be next week or next year? We are not weak. We are 3 million people armed in the holy cause of liberty. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from Boston will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
Give me liberty,
or give me death.
Moses, what are you doing here? Are you crazy?
I came to get you, to take you with me to Philadelphia.
No, it's too risky.
I'm not leaving you here.
Don't worry about me. I have a plan.
A plan?
There is a rumor, a strong rumor from sources that are never wrong.
What is it?
Lord Dunmore is going to offer freedom to any slave who joins the British to put down the rebellion in Boston.
But that's just talk. I'm offering you a way out.
You're offering me a life on the run, as a fugitive. I want freedom. The freedom every man should have. I'll not spend my life looking over my shoulder, waiting for the bounty hunters to drag me back here in chains.
But...
Moses, I love you. You are a brave man for coming here. But I will not live my life as if I were a criminal when the crime is being committed against me. If I can win my freedom by helping the British, so be it. At least I will be the master of my own fate.
Are you sure?
I've never been more sure.
It's late. What's all that racket? You! Get him, boys!
Moses! I've got to get James and Sarah!
What does it all mean, James? Is Virginia going to send an army to Boston?
Not unless fighting breaks out. But thanks to Patrick Henry, at least Virginia will have an army. The convention voted funds to buy weapons and uniforms and hire officers. This is a great day.
James! Sarah!
Henri?
James, Sarah, quick! Moses has been taken by the plantation men.
No!
Quick, the wagon! Yeah! We're coming, Moses!
Who is it at this hour of the night? Yes? How may I help you?
We're looking for our friend.
Moses. His name is Moses. Let him go.
What makes you think I have your friend, this Moses character?
I saw your foreman, Harrison, take him prisoner.
The runaway caught stirring up trouble in my slave quarters? That's your friend?
Yes, sir. He is our friend. Only Moses is not a runaway. He's a free man. See for yourself.
What is this?
That is a letter from Dr. Benjamin Franklin of Philadelphia.
I am aware of Dr. Franklin, but why is this any of his business?
Because, as a man of honor, you have no right to keep that which doesn't belong to you.
And this Moses belongs to Dr. Franklin?
Moses belongs to himself.
Is everything in order, Mr. Abernathy? I heard a wagon roll up.
The African named Moses. Where is he?
I locked him in the blockhouse. His running days are over.
Release him immediately.
Release him? But...
Now, Harrison. Our guests here have a long ride ahead of them, which I suggest you embark on post-haste.
So you believe us?
If Dr. Franklin is in the business of hiring Africans, that's his concern, not mine. Be off with you. But tell Dr. Franklin he's playing with lightning again. His radical notions about slavery might fly in Philadelphia, but he'll set the world on fire if he tries to export them to Virginia. You make sure you tell him that.
Oh, we will, sir. We will.
We'll be sure to tell him.
And then Patrick Henri said, "As for me, give me liberty or give me death."
That's a mighty fine speech. Good job, James.
It's a bunch of hogwash.
Hogwash? Sarah, it was greatness.
All that talk of freedom and liberty? Look what happened to Moses.
And what about Cato?
Yes, Moses. What about Cato?
Look.
Freedom for slaves who take up arms against the colonists.
It's signed by Lord Dunmore for His Majesty King George III.
Cato is taking his own path to freedom. If it's God's will, he'll succeed. I believe it is God's will. I believe someday all my people will drink from the cup of liberty, just like Patrick Henri said.
Dearest Mother, we have returned safely from Virginia, but not without terrible fright, and not without the blinders being lifted from my eyes. Whatever unity Mr. Patrick Henri was able to achieve by bringing the colony of Virginia into the cause with New England, this land shall remain divided as long as slavery remains the law. It is an awful practice, degrading to the slave and to the master. It's an evil that should be stamped from the world wherever it lives. I've learned there are many paths to freedom. Moses took one path, his brother Cato another. Just as England and the colonies are traveling different paths. My great fear is these paths are destined to collide. Freedom will not come cheaply. It never does. Your loving daughter, Sarah. April 1775. Dear Mother, Dr. Franklin insists that his newspaper is stirring patriotism in the bosom of every colonist. But I am not so sure. There is no doubt their political passions run high here in the colonies. But there are so many people with so many different backgrounds. It seems to me that no two of the colonies share the same interests. Pennsylvania and Virginia are as different as France and Holland, or so I am told. As for me, I am proud to remain steadfastly British.
Shh! It's me. You heard the voices too?
I think it is thieves.
Or someone who disagrees with Dr. Franklin's newspaper.
They're here to destroy the printing press. Come on!
Look!
Who goes there? Do you see anything? Good. Let us resume our business.
I'll scare them. You trip them up.
Run!
We got them! We got them!
Sarah, run and get Moses.
Oh, no need to get Moses. You already got him.
Huh?
Moses? But why? Why the sneaking around?
Maybe he's a traitor and a spy. He could have fooled us all along.
Don't be silly, Henri. I'm sure Moses has a perfectly logical explanation.
Oh, my back. Oh. Of course I have a logical explanation. I'm no traitor. I'm a mechanic.
You can fix a wagon. So?
The mechanics are a secret group of patriots concerned about how Britain is treating the colonies.
I thought that was the Sons of Liberty.
That's another group. Its membership is reserved for men of commerce. We craftsmen, having no group of our own, decided to form one. We call ourselves mechanics.
I never heard of them.
Because these doings are not games. There's great danger in simply knowing about these secret societies. Oh, thanks to your enthusiastic defense of Dr. Franklin's print shop, my mission is in dire jeopardy. I was to deliver this urgent message to Dr. Joseph Warren, a colleague of Samuel Adams. We have heard from our sources that the British Army is moving out of Boston to New York. If the colonists along the way think the British are attacking, they might react with violence. We don't want that to happen, and now I can't warn Dr. Warren.
I will take the letter to Boston, Moses. I'm your man.
And who says a woman cannot be part of this vital undertaking?
I'm going too.
Sorry, Henri. I'm going to need you here to help me get around. As for you two...
Moses, this message must be delivered. You said so yourself. There is no other alternative. You know I can do it.
We can do it. Two have a better chance than one.
That is true.
But Moses, she's British!
I may be British, but that doesn't mean I can't see both sides of the question. It's the violence and the bloodshed I fear and hate.
It's settled. A ship leaves for Boston at dawn bearing emergency supplies. I was to be on it. Now you two will go in my stead. No argument. As for tonight, get some rest.
Don't see why I have to rest. I'm not going anywhere.
Why so quiet? After all these long days and nights at sea, we're almost to Boston Harbor.
I'm worried. I hope I'm not committing an act of treason. What would my mother think?
We're saving lives. That's not treason.
Stay down and hold on. There be trouble ahead.
A British frigate. If they catch us with contraband aboard... Oh! They're firing on us!
Whoa!
Look out!
Don't worry, they're just warning us off. The harbor's still closed. We'll lose them by staying in the shallow waters, close to the coast where they cannot go. But we're going to have to put you ashore several miles south of Boston. I'm afraid you'll have to walk the rest of the way.
Thank you!
Goodbye!
have to walk through that?
Unless you can sprout wings and fly. Fear not. We're only 2 hours from Boston.
Yuck!
Don't worry. The frogs here are probably too big to fit into your shoes.
These wretched bugs. 2 hours, you said? It's been 4, and they've been the longest hours of my life.
Luckily, according to the maps, the road should be dead ahead. See? There it is!
Oh, my dress is ruined.
It'll dry soon enough. Let's eat. I'm starving.
Someone's coming.
We'd better hide. Who knows if they're friend or foe? British regulars!
Halt! Halt, I say. I spy something on the ground there. Have a look, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. Bread and cheese, sir. Dropped here within the last few minutes, I'd wager. Not an ant in sight.
Have a look around, but be quick about it. We must join the others in Boston tonight for tomorrow's journey to Lexington and Concord.
Nothing here. Nowhere else to hide. Perhaps there's someone on the road ahead of us.
If that be so, we'll catch up with them shortly. Come. Here!
That was close.
That was messy. My clothes. Whoa!
Sarah, the British are not going to New York at all. They're riding to Lexington and Concord. We have to tell Dr. Warren.
Dear heavens!
Dr. Warren?
Yes. Was there an accident?
No accident, sir. That's not to say we look this way on purpose.
Let me get to the point, sir. We come from Philadelphia with an urgent message from the mechanics, but even more importantly...
Hold on. I'm not aware of any mechanics who send messengers. What sort of mechanic? Cobbler? Wainwright? I cannot talk to you now.
Wait, we're from the printer.
Ah, and the printer's wife, how is she?
We both know he isn't married, sir.
Come in, quickly. I must apologize for my interrogation, but with all the spies around, one can never be too careful. Well, now, you know who I am, but I don't know who you are, other than you've come from Dr. Franklin's print shop in Moses.
The printer. Right.
I'm Sarah Phillips, sir.
James Hiller.
Please excuse the way we look. We've been at sea for almost 2 weeks, and then walked through an endless swamp to get here.
You came all the way from Philadelphia?
Moses said our message was urgent.
Hold on. There are some gentlemen here who should hear this. James Hiller and Sarah Phillips, Paul Revere and William Dawes.
Call me Billy.
Please, I'm sure.
James and Sarah have brought us urgent news from Philadelphia.
What we've seen outside the city is much more pressing, sir. Boston Harbor remains blockaded, and the British are on the move, but they are marching on Lexington and Concord, not New York.
That confirms everything we know. Tonight's the night.
Yes, the rumors Moses heard about the British marching on New York are completely false. The rumors we heard from the British groom are completely correct. The British are marching on Lexington and Concord by sea, which means they'll be going after Samuel Adams and John Hancock, not to mention the colonists' stores of guns and ammunition.
Not if we get there first.
We have no time to waste. Lives are at stake. Warn every volunteer from here to Concord. Wake them up. Knock on every door if need be.
I'll go by land, out through Boston Neck.
Right. After I set the signal at North Church and let everyone know the British are coming by sea, I'll cross the river and arrange for a horse in Charlestown.
It will be dangerous, but if one meets with trouble, perhaps the other will get through.
We've got to be part of this.
But James, I'm verging on treachery already.
You're looking at it all wrong.
This is history in the making. Dr. Franklin needs us to observe. Otherwise, who will ever know what actually happened this night?
You're right. The truth must be told.
We'd like to come with you.
Yes, to describe these events for Dr. Franklin's newspaper. The whole world must learn of such momentous happenings.
They would make good cover.
We'll help raise the alarm.
I am well raised, Mr. Dawes, but I can be loud.
She can. Breaks glass all the time.
All right, then. Come along.
Hold on. I don't know if Dr. Franklin would consent to my putting you two in danger.
Sir, Dr. Franklin's right-hand man, Moses, sent us here.
And Dr. Franklin is behind us 100%.
Philadelphia to Boston in just 13 days?
I still find that nearly impossible.
With all due respect, sir, nearly impossible and impossible are two distinctly different things.
And we have to cover this story and let people know what happens.
Very good, then. Godspeed. And right well. Tell the world of our gallant boys and our midnight ride to stop the bloodshed.
Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Newman, but the British regulars are definitely on the move, and they are preparing to cross the Charles River.
2 lanterns, then?
Yes, just as we agreed. 1 of by land, 2 of by sea. The whole city will be able to see them from the belfry.
Do you hear that? Sounds like soldiers.
We don't have much time.
Petticoats to muffle the oars. Great idea. Too bad about the full moon, though. I feel like there's a lantern on us.
Shh. The Somerset.
Paul, over here!
Deacon Larkin, reliable as always.
I saw the lanterns. My father's horse, as promised.
I hope she's fast.
One many a race for me. Watch out for the red bellies! The roads are crawling with them.
Look, to the north!
Yes, it's the regulars. Whoa! Good eyes, girl. I believe the British are crossing to Cambridge. We've no time to lose.
Whoa!
What's the matter?
Riders coming. British patrol. Perfect stopping place for them. Hiya!
Dash it all!
After them!
The regulars are on the march!
The regulars are coming! The regulars are coming! Hey! The regulars are coming! Wake up! Wake up! The regulars are coming!
The regulars are coming! The regulars are coming!
The British are coming! The British are coming!
Wake up! The regulars are coming!
Wake up!
The regulars are coming!
The British are
Wake
coming!
John Hancock, Sam Adams, bestir yourselves! Welcome to Clark House, James, known for its peace and quiet. Sound the alarm!
Hold! People are sleeping here. Keep the noise down.
Noise? You'll have noise enough before long. The regulars are coming. Help me wake the house.
Coming! Don't break it down.
What's going on, Paul? John, Sam, the regulars are on the move. They mean to capture you two and all the munitions they can find.
We'll gather up our things and repair to Buckman Tavern to plan our escape.
James, how was your ride?
Incredible.
James, take care of the horses.
I'll help.
Mr. Revere's courage is amazing. When I tell the story, he'll be famous.
But his is only half the story. Mr. Dawes has been doing the same thing just as amazingly.
I can only write what I witness, and I've been with Paul Revere.
I witness great events too. From now on, I'll be a journalist. I can't let people get all their news from James.
Mr. Dawes and I are riding on to Concord. We'll understand if you don't want to come.
And miss a huge story? Of course, Sarah may want to stay.
Not a chance.
My horse is tired. He's had a long night.
We all have.
There's a rider coming.
Revere? Dawes?
Dr. Prescott, the freedom fighter?
Call me Samuel. I heard about your ride, Paul Revere, and I thought I'd join you.
You! Hold there!
Let's split up.
See you in Concord.
My horse will never make it.
It will now. Go. They won't do anything to me. I'm a British subject.
You're also a brave girl. Yeah!
If you're staying, I'm staying. Go, Mr. Revere, and good luck.
You're in my charge. The others will get the message through.
You, what's your name?
Revere. Paul Revere.
Boston's famous express rider. What brings you out tonight? I see you've been riding hard, alerting the countryside of our regiments headed this way.
I won't deny it.
Dismount, sir. Sergeant, take his horse, Mr. Revere. If you attempt to run or we are insulted, you'll pay the price.
You may do as you please.
What are you two doing out here? Shouldn't you be in bed, leaving such treasonous activities to your elders?
I've committed no treason. I'm a loyal British subject from a respectable English family.
Oh, but of course. Pardon me for not recognizing you immediately, your ladyship. It was the muddy face and dirty hair that had me fooled. Sergeant, round up these urchins. We'll need someone to clean up after the horses. Listen, a skirmish ahead. Sergeant, prepare the men to engage.
What about the prisoners, sir?
They're traitors. We shall deliver them to the civil authorities.
But they'll slow us down, sir.
You're right, Sergeant. Release them, but keep the horse. It's fresher than ours.
Yes, sir. You're free. I strongly suggest you go home. Don't let our patrols catch you on these roads again.
Company, forward!
Come, let us go.
Where are we going?
Back to Lexington. We have to help Hancock and Adams escape.
What a story this is going to be!
Yes, and I plan to help write it.
Thanks for your help. You'll be safe here at the inn.
Thanks for letting us come along. All the world will know of your brave acts when my newspaper article is published. Gotta get these notes down while tonight's events are fresh in my mind.
I'll have little something for you to include with your dispatch.
What is that? Your autobiography?
No, just the half of the story you left out. The truth must be told.
How I wish for a day when words will fly across the sea at the speed of lightning and not wait these long, interminable months at sea. I worry overmuch about the colonies, I hope, but I fear that this tense situation is headed for confrontation, not compromise. I fear for my friends and my allies. I fear for Moses, without whom my life at home could not go on. I fear for James, Sarah, and Henri, the young ones in my charge. This is no time to be bold and brash, but try to tell that to youthful souls caught up in the passion of the times. In the end, no man or woman can remain neutral. There's a day of reckoning coming, and nothing I can do will prevent it.